My guest today is Ricardo Avitia, co-founder of the grassroots group Hemphill Not For Sale. So tomorrow, Forest City Council will be voting on a zoning change recommendation that will allow for a massive townhome project to be installed right here. Ricardo, you mentioned this city did not give adequate notice for this zoning request. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, sir, most definitely, Mr. Brown. The city of Fort Worth has an ordinance that specifies that there must be a sign posted on the premises 10 days prior to any zoning request change hearing. Unfortunately, that did not happen with the Townside Inc. Development Group. And we expressed our concerns to Zoning Commission, City Council, of course, Code Compliance even, and the Diversity, Inclusion, and Equity team. So heads, directors, so that they would know as well what's happening in our community. Unfortunately, we have not had a good response in regards to those emails.
Okay, so they finally put the sign up, but they put it up later than they should have.
Most definitely, yes, sir. The sign was only posted after the fact, after the zoning commission hearing, and it was very unfortunate because the city is going to state that, you know, now the sign is up and there it is.
So what are your concerns about this development?
Well, the concerns are most definitely the lack of respect that we see in our community from governments over the last 50 years, the continuance of that, racial inequality and representation. And so when our, communities, working class communities of color stand up, and even, all working class communities stand up in concerns about a particular development, it's the representatives' responsibility to have an empathetic ear to the residents' concerns, and that's not happening here.
And this is Elizabeth Beck's district?
This is Elizabeth Beck's district, yes, sir.
And we're in the Hemphill community, if we haven't mentioned that, on the south side.
To speak on,
go ahead.
that, another concern of ours is that because Elizabeth Beck will not be our representative any longer after this elections in May, that it may be easier for her to make a decision on this particular property prior to who's stepping out of the district. And that's another concern of ours because she has not been representative of our community in the last 2 years that she's been our representative.
And your broader concerns deal with gentrification. You're worried about, like in Fairmount, what happened. Now the homes are valued at $500,000 on average. You're worried about those kind of price increases pushing out people who have lived here for generations, largely Hispanic folks, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, right. And to piggyback on that, so yes, Fairmount and the near south side are a case study of gentrification here in Fort Worth. And so apart from the particular fears of property value rising, again, we want to make sure that the city of Fort Worth understands that we do not appreciate the disrespect in our community, first and foremost. Yes, everything else that comes along with gentrification is just gravy on the plate. But the lack of communication and intentionality, proactiveness to communicate with our community after the last 2 years, especially, that's just a slap in the face to us, and that's very unfortunate.
So, what would you like city council members and business community developers to keep in mind? Because this area is going to grow. There will be some level of development here. How can that happen in a way that doesn't boot out the folks who live here?
Yes, thank you for that question. Yes, I think the city council was elected this last go around with the intention that the city council representatives would represent the communities that they are elected to represent. Unfortunately, that has not been the case in every matter. And especially when it comes to development here on the south side. And we would like for the city council to be empathetic to our needs and to really take a look at the procedurals that they put in place to protect us. Even though that the state statute doesn't state that sign needs to be posted, the city made an ordinance to be more restrictive than the state to ensure that community members were being notified. And so for them to approve this particular zoning case with that particular state of mind would just be a very hypocritical thing to do.
Okay. And do you have any events coming up? And go and plug your social media so folks can follow Hemphill Not For Sale.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Defend Hemphill. The name is Hemphill No Se Vende, which stands for Hemphill is Not For Sale. When we talk about rezoning and development, revitalization, that usually happens in economically blight communities with high crime. Unfortunately, statistics and data does not support that for our community, and we are a very sustainable community. What we need is a positive development, starting with infrastructure, because we have a lot of flooding around here. So to add more concrete to the one lane on Hemphill would not be a good thing, because one, we have a train station here or a train crossroad here, so the influx of people would just cause more congestion, which is the intentionality of zoning is to deter from that congestion, and so that is also hypocritical to policy, and so we're just not going to stand for it, sir. We're going to continue to voice our concerns.
Well, we appreciate what you do, and we'll keep following this.
Thank you so much,
Ricardo.
for your time.
Thank you.